Hello again. I've run out of half-effort mining tutorials to make, so now it's just me having to grind hours of my life away to make videos and various achievements. With that said, 100 mil obsidian. Yay! Thankfully, this one wasn't nearly as hard as my other grinds, taking maybe half the time Scotha's took and a fourth of the time gold took. It wasn't a breeze by any means, though. By the end, I was looking forward towards mining endstone, of all things, for a few hours. That's how bored I was. I need more good animes so I can entertain myself while doing these things, I swear. Anyways, if you're here to learn how to mine obsidian, or are wondering what super secret amazing strategies I used, I'd recommend watching my actual obsidian guide I made a while ago, and then watching this one for further optimizations. So, the reason I decided to do obsidian after Scotha's is because I don't have a reason. It was enticing when I started because Scotha's made me so little per hour, and obsidian was easily 3 to 4 times the amount, so I was hooked on the money. But by the time I realized inflation was wreaking havoc in the game, and everything makes amazing money now, I was too deep and was already dead set on 100 million. It did make me a great deal of money though. I don't know the exact amount because a lot of price fluctuations. It started at like 3.5k per enchanted obsidian, and for a lot of the grind was at like 4.8k to 5k, which was mind-blowing. I'd estimate I sold at an average price of 4.6k though. And with that number, I made 2.9 billion coins, which isn't awful. However, I didn't start at 0 obsidian, I actually started at around 15 million, so in reality that number is a fair amount smaller. Still, way more than Scotha's made me, and in like half the time, so I'm happy with it. I was so happy, in fact, that I bought a space helmet. Look how rainbow it is. You know what would make me just as happy, though? You subscribing! If enough of you were to subscribe, I could become a big enough YouTube channel to convince YouTube themselves to make the subscribe button rainbow, just like my space helmet. We love rainbows, don't we? Anyways, for my rates, I was averaging around 1.2 million obsidian per hour and 1.8 million mining experience per hour, which is around 35 million coins per hour. With the pretty decent amount of mining experience you get doing this, it's actually better to level a golden dragon than to use a Scotha pet, so if I was doing that I would have been making 43 million coins per hour, which is pretty good. However, on the topic of pets, I've had a few people say to me in passing that a black cat or a racing helmet would be better because of the implications of 500 speed and a mining speed boost. And to those people, I'd like to say, have you done an hourly test? Like, ever? Seriously, look at this notepad. The collection per mining speed boost difference is the same as the mining fortune difference. I wonder what that means. Yeah, 500 speed gives no buffs. Good job, guys. If you've watched the Scotha video or are a farmer, you might be familiar as to why this is. When you're instantly mining the blocks, this doesn't really mean instant. If you go over them too fast, then you'll leave blocks behind that you haven't mined. 500 speed is simply too fast for you to hit every block. It's also much harder to control, and you have to take an alternate path to not run out of space. There's also a chance that Efficient Miner has a cooldown similar to the one that Mineral Armor does, along with the 50% chance of proccing to begin with. In short, 500 speed bad, please test metas. Hello, this is Editing Implodent here, saying that I forgot to say that instead of /warp drag, it's /warp end now, cause it's faster. With that out of the way, let's talk about how to properly steal lobbies. Obsidian mining is a method in which you'll be cycling through a ton of lobbies, and at peak hours you may find a person in nearly every single one. So if it's too inefficient to swap lobbies and avoid them, what do? Well, you simply take the spot. You see, obsidian spots can actually hold 2 people who aren't using mining speed boost, as long as those people possess at least 2 brain cells. Now, I know a lot of you watching this video don't meet that requirement, but bear with me here, it's easy, I promise. So, you'll want to follow this pattern of boxes I've so eloquently drawn in Microsoft Paint for you. If you're the only one in the lobby, then what I did is I followed this big box right here, as it's the most AFK way, and it seemed to get me to the most blocks broken, as compared to aimlessly mining diagonally or in a circle as some people do. Anyways, if somebody else comes into the lobby, they should just pick one of these boxes to occupy. Then, the person who was originally there just continues their cycle of the big box until they reach the other smaller box that isn't being used, then just go along like that. This really doesn't decrease either person's rates much at all, and is great because you don't have to waste 10 seconds looking for another lobby. Those 10 seconds are more valuable than other methods too, because your mining speed boost is so essential and the cooldown is so much shorter. Naturally though, one person will be able to use their mining speed boost first. In the advent of this, the person who came to the lobby later should go over to this spot where they don't have to move at all and just mine there like you're doing Dwarven Mines Mithril. Then, once the other person is done with their speed boost and is gone from the lobby, just take over the big box. If the later person's speed boost gets off cooldown while the earlier person is using their speed boost, then good luck! Once again, in Microsoft Paint, I have drawn the lines that the first and second person should take in the advent of this, which isn't really all that common, honestly. A lot of people mining Obsidian possessed a few more brain cells than the average Skyblock player should realistically have, and actually adapted to doing this with me, but quite a few just continued their weird diagonal patterns anyway. So, try to avoid that. Thanks. Also, occasionally I'd see upwards of 3 people in a lobby, which is really funny, honestly. For obvious reasons, if you're a third person, just swap lobbies. Anyways, after saying all of that, this should only really be necessary during peak hours where you're finding lots of already occupied lobbies. Even though I've devised this ingenious lobby stealing system, it will still lower both people's profits by a bit, so if you can lobby swap and reliably find an empty lobby, that is always the better option. And if you think I'm encouraging griefing and hate me and hate the fact that I'm playing God by telling people how to cooperate, leave a comment, I guess? It helps me in the algorithm, I'd really appreciate it. I think that's all, really. Overall, I also gained 126 million mining experience, which pushed me over 2 billion overflow, which is cool, I guess. Anyways, now that I'm done with this, I can wind down by doing some endstone and committing endermite genocide. No? Okay then. I mean, I got a cool screenshot from my troubles, I guess. Shout out to this commenter for making an astute observation. Send help, please.